the number 5 is fünf. And one time we were talking to this old lady who couldn't really see very well. She was pretty much blind and she couldn't really hear very well. And so we went to visit her and she was like asking about us, and my companion has 5 siblings, right? So she was like, how many siblings do you have? And my companion was like, fünf. And she goes, what? And she goes, fünf. And she goes, what? And we were like, fünf. She goes, huh? And we were like, fünf. How do you say that? Fünf. It was super hard to pronounce. So anyways, that sound, ooh, with like an E on the inside and like an ooh on the outside, fünf. It's really hard to pronounce. So that's one of the sounds that's hard. Another sound is the rolling R in the back of the throat. I never got that. It's like an R, I don't know. I can't even imitate it. I don't know. I just found that like Germans really want to help you with specifics if you ask them. So if you say, I'm from America, can you help me pronounce this word correctly? They're gonna work with you, you know. German food is spectacular. It's so good. First of all, their yogurt. It's probably not something you'd think of initially, but German yogurt is incredible because they're allowed to have a higher bacteria count in their yogurt than America. And so their yogurt is like super creamy. They sell it in huge tubs, and I bought a huge tub every single week and ate yogurt every single day for breakfast. It was really delicious. Yogurt with milk, of course, but their milk is they don't refrigerate it. They keep it like on the shelf. And so it tastes a little bit different. Anyways, the milk is a little different. German bread is incredible. They make fresh breads at all their bakeries every day. And I remember one year for Easter, they made like Easter bread. They usually have like different holiday breads. And it was like this really good looking, I don't know, like bread with carrot. It was like a carrot bread type of stuff with like a bunny rabbit that was like not like an indent but an outdent on the side of the whole loaf of bread, and they'll like cut it for you. Anyways, German bread is like super long, super dense, super dark. They have like Schwarzbrot, which is it's like black bread, but really it's just dark brown. And anyways, you just feel healthy eating it. It's so dense and good, like with some honey butter or just plain butter on it. Or they have like spreadable meat. I know it sounds disgusting at first, but spreadable meat that you can, Germany specializes in it. It's their best kind of meat. So if you can get over the initial weirdness of it, it's really, really delicious. They have Abendbrot, which means like evening bread. Anyways, it's their dinner. And it's lighter than their lunch, but a lot of times they have just like bread with cheeses. They have lots of different kinds of sliced cheeses, which are good, and then like meats and salamis and stuff, and sausages that they just put on, and they just do all kinds of different combinations of that for their dinner. It doesn't sound very much of a variety, but it is delicious, and I can understand how a German would eat that every day of their life, every dinner of their life, because I don't know, it feels really satisfying. So yeah, so dinner is the light meal, lunch is like the more heavy meal of the day. Their bakeries for breakfast are so fantastic. They have all kinds of like pastries and breads, and my favorite thing to get at a bakery is their Apfeltasche, which is an apple pocket. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of like an apple pie type of thing. It has like apple stuff in it with cinnamon, and then it has like the really good bread on the outside. Ooh, it's so good. You can just buy that for a couple of euros. I love the German food. It's so good. Okay, so a little bit more about food. Eating dinner, I think every single week we had potatoes that were really bland. There's not a lot of flavor. And then like rotkohl or sauerkraut, and then some sort of meat with like a gravy. They like gravy over everything. And they like to give you a lot to eat. But of course, remember, in Germany, it's okay to be very direct. So I learned to just say, nope, I'm full. No, thank you. No more. Even though they're like, they want to give you a lot, right? But they respect you when you just are very direct, and they're very direct as well. So it all works out great. First of all, the German people are very direct. This is like a really big strength of the Germans, because they'll tell you right away if they're not interested in what you're talking about. They're like very cautious of strangers as well. It was a little bit shocking at first, especially for Americans, because we're very, like, I don't know, we just are more of a bubbly culture, I think. We smile a lot more. We say, like, how are you? I don't know if we make eye contact more, or I don't know, but it just was like a little bit shocking for an American to all of a sudden be in Germany and to just be like, you know, in contact with so many direct things like, no thanks, I don't want to talk to you, or like, I'm not interested. Those kind of things, like very direct. But I think it's a really awesome trait about Germans, because then nobody's wasting their time. You just move on and everybody's more happy than if people said yes and they didn't mean it, and you know, stuff like that. So I think it's a really awesome characteristic of the German people. Also, Germans are super hardworking. At least what I found out from the culture is that people just like go to work and they work really hard and they come home and they sleep and they eat and then they go to work again. Like, it's just a super duper hardworking culture. They have a lot of like Ausbildungs, which are like a lot of the young people are kind of doing apprenticeships, and like they choose their area of study very early on in their schooling, and so they know exactly what they're going into and exactly their focus, and they really specialize in things. And so and they like to be very particular about how you do something or the process. Anyways, so if you ever ask a German for help in something specific, they'll be really excited to help you and to help you do every single step really carefully and good and well done. So it's a really great, I don't know, it's a really great culture to be around, I think. Holidays in Germany are very much connected to the church holidays. So they have like it's called a prayer and repentance day is a holiday, and nobody is open on holidays. Like, grocery stores are not open. Like, the Innenstadt, the middle of the city, is just like completely closed down on Sundays. Everybody does stuff with their families on Sundays. On holidays, everything's just shut down, which is really foreign to this country, to America, because everything's open all the time. There's always like a grocery store or like a gas station or something that's open, but not in Germany. You can't expect. I don't even know if like hospitals have very minimal workers on Sundays even. So yeah, so that was a little bit foreign to me to figure out, like, oh, we can't go shopping today because actually it's a holiday and nobody is working. There was this one holiday where we didn't realize that and there were no grocery stores open, and so we luckily found this like fruit stand that someone was at, and they sold us strawberries and asparagus, and so we ate that all week for our meals. It was really delicious, but we were glad that we could go shopping anyways later. But yeah, so they take their holidays very seriously. On the other hand, they're not really religious about their religion holidays. So they'll have a prayer and repentance day, and you ask them, what does that mean? And they're, nothing, a day off of work, day off of school. So you have this like religion kind of built in their culture, but not really built into their culture. I don't know what people do on holidays, but they just are not on the streets. They're not in their houses either, so we never really figured that one out. But let's see, Christmas time is especially cool. Central Germany, where they make all these like really cool wooden they're like wooden pyramids, they call them, and you put candles in them, and they turn this like kind of this windmill thing on the top, and they have little characters, like wooden characters that spin around in a circle, and they're super famous for that. They have these cool little wood carved people of all different occupations, and they're called Räuchermänner, the like smoking men, and you put like an incense thing in the middle. Like, you open up the guy, you put an incense thing in the middle, and you light the incense and you fan it so it's like smoking, and then you put his head on and it looks like he's smoking. Anyways, it's really cute. I got a moose for my mom when I was there, made out of wood, and he's like smoking out of his nostrils. Anyways, it's really cute. But the Christmases are incredible. They like decorate all their trees in the middle of the city. They have like little They put up this little like village in the middle, and you can buy like puzzles or hats or scarves or gloves or hot chocolate, or they have a lot of alcohol actually, so watch out. Okay, so at Christmas time, people will invite you in and give you Christmas bread. They have this fruitcake Christmas bread that everyone eats every year, all the time, and it's just like their Christmas bread, and no one ever gets tired of it, but I don't know if anyone loves it. They just do it. It's just tradition. So they'll give you like fruit tea and this fruit cake bread stuff. Anyways, it's kind of good. I liked it pretty good, but they also have like advent calendars everywhere. They're super big, where you can open like day 1 of December and you get a little candy, and then day 2 and 3, and that's a super big thing in Germany. They have 3 holidays of Christmas. They call it Christmas, or they call, Christmas Eve is a holiday, then the first holiday of Christmas, and the second holiday of Christmas, and they're all 3 like the same huge holiday. Christmas Eve is actually the big holiday where Santa Claus comes, and he comes at night. I mean, he comes like in the evening, you know, and so they're really big into those holidays, and it's super, I don't know, like fantasy, like it feels super cute and like really fun. They also do a lot of like bratwurst. You can buy a bratwurst on the street and eat that, and it's really, really good. I went through a phase of eating lots of those off the street 2 times in one day once. So those are really good, especially if you buy them from the Weihnachtsmarkt or the Christmas market with all the like, I don't know, there's tons of things you can get, so it's super fun feeling. Germany has been through 2 world wars, and they were both really hard on Germany. The First World War, Germany was like punished to pay for and like fix up everything that happened in Europe, and they weren't necessarily, you know, responsible for all of it, but it put them into a lot of debt, and it put them like way poor country, and it was really hard on Germany. Of course, that set them up for the Nazi regime in World War II, which Hitler was part of that, and he turned out to be a really bad guy, and a lot of Germans didn't know that when it was happening. They didn't know he was bad and what was happening to all the Jews. Anyway, so Germany has been through a lot of really hard experiences with government and with war, and they have seen a lot of suffering. A lot of people are super aware of that, and they don't trust big promises. They don't trust big groups of people. Like religion is a big part of that, but also like big governmental promises and stuff like that. They just don't trust anything that seems to be too good. They are a very hardworking country, and they do like take a lot of responsibility to like build themselves back up, or like, I don't know, they really like the idea of just being able to work and being able to accomplish and getting themselves out of the hard times that they've seen. So there's such a strong, I don't know, a strong culture because of that. And because of that, I don't know, I think Germany is a kind of a refuge now for other countries, because the government they take care of everyone there. It's kind of a socialist type of feel. Everyone likes to be fairly treated, and they don't have a lot of homeless people on the street because the government will like make sure that you get a certain amount of, you know, money, or I don't know, if you're allowed to be in the country, they will take care of you. So there's not a lot of homeless people on the street. There are poor people, but they are taken care of. Because of that situation, like the stability of the country now, a lot of people, I think it's like the number 2 place or the number 1 place in Europe to immigrate to. There's a lot of people from like Turkey, or a lot of people from, I don't know, that speak Arabic, or I met like people from France and people from Italy, and it's just super multicultural. Especially in Berlin, you're going to find a lot of different cultures. Even like in other cities around the area, there's going to be lots and lots of different cultures. But yeah, it's a super cool, I don't know, I didn't expect to run into so many different cultures. In the smaller cities, we rode bikes everywhere, and there were like there are a lot of like pretty walking paths. The parks are really pretty. Lots of green, and like it's kind of humid and warm. And so we would bike everywhere and take paths through the parks. I remember in one city, I was in Celle, and there's like a path from our apartment to the church, and it was like through this, I don't know, this river path. And then it was super pretty, and I loved biking to the church because of that. The traditional German wood houses with like the white wooden strips that go like cross. Anyways, it's really super famous, and they actually have those, and people live. It's super cool because in the middle, in the Innenstadt, in the middle of the city, they have the streets with all of the shops on the bottom, like right by the streets, and you can get, it's like gelato. They call it ice cream there because it's just what they have, but it's gelato, and you can stop by and you can get like a scoop of gelato on your trip to wherever you're going, and it's really delicious. Anyways, so that was really fun, and it'll cool you off, and you can get like lemon is really good, or they have like mint, or they have just like cherry, or I don't know, all these different delicious flavors. Oh, there was this one city I was in, Bremerhaven, and there were lots of flowers, and it like blossomed in one weekend, and I had way bad allergies that year. I don't know what happened, but I could not stop sneezing, and I had to wear like a wet washcloth on my eyes so I wouldn't itch them overnight with like a rubber band around my head. Anyways, it was really nuts, and I was not prepared for that kind of allergy reaction. It was miserable. So be prepared for allergies maybe. I don't know.